DeaconLive.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Look at my hair. It's so fancy. So fancy. So fancy.
So I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a strip show, dance show.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Well,
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, we interview musical artist Dilly and what summer food could harm your pooch and a TikTok hack that backfires. Also, you won't believe what kind of music my dad is listening to right now. All this and much, much more will be discussed here on DeaconLive. How are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing okay? Are you ready for this big weekend coming up? And when I say big weekend coming up, my headphones are taking a dump on me here. There we go. Is that better? That sounds better. Thank you. And when I say this big weekend coming up, it's Memorial Day weekend. Now, I've got a couple things going on. Now, for those of you who don't know, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, a beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. We sit on about 22 some odd acres. We have chickens. We have horses, lots of horses now. And our neighbors have goats, and the other neighbors have dogs and goats and chickens and all this stuff. It's just a big farm life here. We put in our crops. And our crops are growing real good now. We got probably maybe a quarter acre of corn, black eyed peas. I know it's farm life. So our property, we call it a franch. It's part farm, part ranch, with the horses and stuff and with all the vegetables and things that we are growing on the property. So Memorial Day weekend, you guys might not know that I do another podcast about horses. I do it with a very well-rounded, world-renowned farrier. He's been all over this whole entire world. He's worked on numerous events. We talk about the Preakness and all the Triple Crown and stuff that's been going on. And he's been in New Zealand. He's been all over Europe. And now he lives here in our little podunk town, ferrying our mules. No, I'm kidding. We have good horses. My wife rides dressage. But anyways, we're doing a live event out at the Ag Center. Yeehaw, people. Yeehaw, come out and see me. Come out and see me. I'll shake your hand. So I'll be doing a live event with that podcast out there. And the name of that podcast that I do is called Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein. And I'm the host. I'm the moron. I'm the token guy who doesn't know anything about horses. I'm the Adam Carolla of Love Lines, if you want to look at it that way. But that's this weekend, but also this weekend is a Memorial Day weekend. So for a lot of you out there having a 3-day weekend, which is great, you deserve it. I say you deserve it. It lets you reflect and reflect on what our country has been through and those that have served and everything that they have sacrificed their life for, past tense and present as well. So gives time for everyone to get together and just kind of hang out with the family. I know with some of the bands or most of the bands being lifted now, we kind of need this right now, especially what's been going on in the news. I'm not going to bore you with the news. That's not what we do here on DeaconLive. We like to be positive. We like to have fun. We like to poke fun at ourselves and sometimes poke fun of you as well. Now, we'd like to hear from you, and the way you do that is go to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on the little Be Heard section at the very bottom of the page. Opens up a microphone on your tablet. Excuse me one sec. On their tablet, on your smart device, and talk right into it, and it sends it right to our inbox, and we will play it on this podcast if you get it in soon enough. If not, we'll play it on the very next podcast, and you can be part of the show just like me. All right. So with Memorial Day, and my Saturday is going to be booked. And by the way, I'll be out there from 9 to 3 if you guys want to come out. I got some stickers, some magnets, and I'll sign your forehead if you want me to. But my dad lives with us. As you guys know, my mom passed away back in February, and my dad, I don't want to say it doesn't have any family, but he doesn't really have any family down in Florida. So we offered him to stay with us, and down on the back corner of the property, we're in the process of building him a tiny home. So now his sister and brother live 3.5 hours left east, one to the east and one to the west. And so we're kind of like in the middle. So I said, you know what, it'd be nice to have everyone come over for Memorial Day weekend. Now, when I say everyone come over, his brother and his spouse and his sister and her spouse will be over here this weekend. So that's 7 people total in this house. Now, That's not bad. We have a huge property. We have a huge house, 3,800 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath. So my wife and I, of course, have 1 bedroom. My dad lives in 1 bedroom, and then we have another extra bedroom for one of the 2 couples to sleep in. So where does that leave the 3rd couple? Well, my dad is offering up his bedroom for the night. He's going to go sleep out in the movie chairs out there in the theater room because they recline almost all the way flat. So he's going to lay out there and give up his bedroom for 2 nights at one of the couples here. But here's the thing. My dad's 76 years old. He's the older of the 3. So the next one down is, let's say 2 years, 74. And then the next one down is 72. So I've got, a house full of what do they call it? The Geritol? What I forget. Geritol? I forget. It's something like that. God damn. Every day, a big web in my throat. Trying to talk. So I've got a house full of, I don't want to say degenerates, just older people. And with older people come the ailments and the pains and the sufferings that they've been through. And I think out of the 2 couples are coming, 1 person in each couple has had back surgery. So you're sitting there going, okay, to get into our house, it's 7 steps no matter where you go. 7 steps to get up into the house because we have a nice crawl space here in North Carolina. And so I don't see them taking those steps maybe once when they get here and then once when they leave. Because they're older people. They're walking with canes and I feel it too because my back, I told you my history, my trials and tribulations with my back. Sometimes it locks up on me. It just kind of, and I'm like, okay, not so quick yet. Let's slow down a little bit. So it should be fun. We'll have a house full of people. They can sit around and tell stories. Do you remember when? And I like listening to those stories just because it makes my life make more sense. Does that make sense to you? You're wondering, did I make up these stories? And one of the stories that I said to my dad, when I do paper plates, we have paper plates here in the house just out of convenience. We don't feel like, washing dishes every 5 minutes, so we do paper plates. And I would use a paper plate till the paper fell off of the paper plate. My wife hates it. She's like, we got plenty of paper plates. And I go, and my dad said the same thing. I said, Dad, I remember Grandma, back when I was a little kid, would save paper towels, rinse them out, and hang them up on the laundry line. So I don't want to hear anything. He's like, no, she didn't. I'm like, Dad, she did. I know she did because I thought it was weird. She got mad at me because I went out there and yanked one off of this is garbage. Pulled it off the laundry line and she came out there with a switch and gave me a little whooping. Whoop it. So it'll be interesting having everyone over here. Most of them I haven't seen in years and years and years. My aunt and uncle. My dad's sister was over here a couple weeks ago. You guys know that story. That I wasn't allowed to discuss a lot of things, and she wrote on the Facebook page, "I listened to the show." I'm like, good. I told you I wasn't going to talk about it. Anyway, so we got a big show to get into. We're going to talk to a very famous artist, rapper, songwriter. Her name is Dilly, D-Y-L-I, and she's a very interesting person. We'll talk to her here in a few minutes. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on social contacts. You can see all the different avenues that you can find us: Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, all that. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and do all the stuff and the links that links us to you and you to us as well. And we'd like to hear from you. While you're over at Prophet Radio, make sure you fill out that little form there and get yourself some free swag. If you can't make it out this Saturday to the Union County Ag Center, get yourself some of the same stuff we're going to be giving away out there. Fill out that little form. I'll mail it out to you. And believe me, I'm not going to do anything with your email address or anything. It's not an email capture thing. I just need an email. So if I have any questions, I can email you back and we can talk to each other and be friends. See how nice it is just to have friends from all over the world. And if you're sitting at home right now and thinking that you are the only one listening to this podcast, well, let me tell you, you and about 55 other countries are listening to this podcast from all over the world. Where else would a country be? So, yes, you are part of that. And for those that order or request the free stuff over there in Europe, I send it out usually once a month. Dan takes it down to the mail post office, and we'll talk to IT Dan here in a little bit. And he does all the mailing out for me, and we do it once a month, do one big large shipment. And so be a little bit patient if you're not in the U.S. and you ordered some free stuff from us. So, all right, now with that being said, graduation is coming around. Now, with that being said, in San Antonio will no longer serve patrons under the age of 25. The Bentley's Beer Garden would no longer allow people under the age of 25 at their establishment on 8123 Broadway. Now, what's happened is the bar has clarified that it only applies to the Broadway location. The age restriction for the bar is North Alamo Street location is set at still 21, but the one over on Broadway has been set to 25. The bar posted this on Facebook on May 17th. Bentley's on Broadway is officially 25 and up now. Many Facebook users agree with the changes. One user commented, more bars should do this, by the way. Another wrote, it should have been 25 and up a long time ago. The Bentley location opened in 2017. The bar features large outdoor bar, television, swing-style seating, well, that's kind of cool, and musical stages. It is unclear why the owners of the bar made changes to the age requirement. So, in my opinion, I believe, and this is just my opinion, and that's what the show's about, that if you are able, and a lot of people say this, if you are able to serve our country and join the military, I think you should have the right to do anything that any other person in the country is allowed to do. You're allowed to, vote. You're allowed to serve in the military. You're allowed to, pay taxes, anything like that. Of course, when you're 18, you pay taxes at 16. But I think you should be able to drink alcohol and cigarettes because we define someone as 18 as an adult. Now, the drinking ages, I don't know why they would bump them up to 21. God damn, I gotta get fucking rid of this throat. Ah! So, I think it should always be 18. Now, if your establishment, you don't want 18-year-olds in there, that's fine. Then you can say 21 and up. Or males only or females only, but then you start pushing the limits as far as, are you, then you go whites only, then you go black only, and we're going backwards in time. But it's discrimination, or do they just want people of that age, 25 and up, because they think that they're more responsible? I know more responsible 21-year-olds than I do 31-year-olds. I know, more responsible people that are 25 or, 55 that are more responsible than 25-year-olds. So, I mean, are you going to have everyone have like an IQ test or some kind of social test to see if they're allowed in your bar? Now, that I know there's dress codes in places, which I understand. You don't want people in there, riffraff, homeless people just walking in because, hey, I've got a pants and shirt on, but where's but where, God damn. But where's your shoes? So I'd like to hear from you. Why do you think this bar, or if you live in that area out there in San Antonio, if you've been to the Bentley's Beer Garden and you know why exactly they've raised the age to 25 to be in that establishment. Now, they're not saying, well, I guess what they're saying is they're not serving anyone under the age of 25. So do you think that they're going to get in trouble with that? I wonder what the legality as far as that is. Hey, I'm 21. The law says in this state 21. Can you deny someone that the actual law? I mean, you talk about, federal law, state law, town laws. I mean, is towns going to start making their own drinking age based on each municipality? Who knows? Not a good way to start. Now, with the end of summer, or the beginning, I think Memorial Day symbolizes the end of summer. Now, with the end of summer coming and Memorial Day weekend coming up, everyone's graduating from high school. Everyone's graduating from elementary school, college, I see all the pictures on Facebook. And the weird part is I see a lot of females, like girls graduating. I never see a whole lot of pictures of the guys graduating. Oh, my son, he's graduating. Maybe for every 20 pictures I see of females graduating, there's like one that, so proud of my boy, he did it. You know, I don't know if there's a instinct that goes on there, but that's what I'm seeing, at least on the Facebook feed. And you can be part of the Facebook feed. Just go over to profitradio.com, click on social contacts, and you can like us and share us and do all that over there. Now, at this school in South Carolina, High School, now, this South Carolina high school won't let these people graduate. They won't let them walk at graduation to discipline them for their involvement in a senior prank. Now, I've had senior pranks before. I mean, there was one year where I think everyone super glued the door handles, and that caused a lot of damage and blah, 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 blah. But listen to this one group of kids, riff-raffs. This is why the drinking age is trying to be 25 over there in San Antonio. It's more of a crime than a prank, the assistant police chief said of the Darlington Police Department. On the night of May 12th, more than 30 students entered multiple buildings at the Darlington High School campus without permission and damaged and vandalized property, according to the statement. The students obscured cameras with debris. All right, bear with me now. The students obscured cameras with debris, egged windows and doors. All right. Graffitied walkways. All right, well, that's kind of bad. Walls and windows as well with chalk paint. I guess they didn't have regular paint. Poured chocolate syrup and threw confetti through the building. All right, well, that's kind of childish, but all right. Spraying shaving cream in the water fountains and on the lockers, display cases, and windows. Turned over full trash cans. Well, why? If it's the middle of the night, why are they at full trash cans? Someone's not doing their job. Someone got busted there on that job there. Spread the garbage throughout the building, plastic wrapped or shrink wrapped around light poles, water fountains, doorways, broke and vandalized the principal's office. This is where they had it right here. This is where they might have crossed the line. Removed the mascot's headpiece from its display case and left it in the courtyard with shaving cream on it. All right, well, if you're just taking it outside and putting shaving cream on it. Stuck feminine pads to doorways, walls, and stop signs. Threw classroom furniture into the hallways. Removed gym equipment from the storage and threw it around the gym. Dumped hand sanitizers in the hallway. Brought various construction items onto the campus and left them inside the building. Ooh. And stole money. There you go. And stole money and several items from the main office, the statement says. So, I mean, for the most part, if one kid did it, all right, that's a lot for one kid. But 30 kids did this, I'm just saying that school's destroyed. If 30 kids, all participated, and this is the rack of stuff that they've done, the police officer noticed the vandalism around 11:02 p.m. on May 12th. Notified school officials. The school declined to press charges on any of the students. We'll handle this, is what they're saying. The spokeswoman for the school district said the officials were not allowed to comment on specific disciplinary actions taken against students for privacy reasons. We did follow the policy and procedure when issuing discipline, and these students did face consequences for their actions. Some students were told that they were not allowed to walk for their graduation ceremony, a response that they said was much too strong. No, I think that's about right. Slapping him in jail for 6 months or something, that would be a little strong. You're just graduating high school. You're trying to, making your way out in the world, and you do something dumb like this. I mean, kids will be dumb. Now, if they're 18 years old, you can say what you want as far as them being an adult, back up to my previous statement. And then they said, we spent a lot of hours in clubs. Student athletes, college classes were taking regular classes during a lot. Working and still maintaining good grades, AB on a roll, and you mean to tell us that we can't walk is what they're saying? All this hard work makes no sense, one of the kids said. Darlington High School graduation ceremony is set for May 27th, according to the school's website. So they got this Friday, they're going to graduate. In the statement, the school district calls the students' actions serious and said custodians and school staff had to work all night to clean up the messes. You know, they probably had a party. They were probably going, you know, if I was those little snot-nosed kids, I would do the same thing. You know, they're sweeping up chocolate syrup and confetti and stuff off the maxi pads off the walls. And the educators, as educators, it's always difficult when young people make poor decisions that could impact their future. This was a serious situation with serious consequences. While accountability is necessary at this moment, they do not have to define the future of these students. So what they're doing is they're deciding that these 30 students are not allowed to walk for graduation. And I don't know. Do you think that's fair? I think that's pretty fair. You know, you're graduating from high school. You're, like I said, you're starting a new life, and the first thing you do is screw up the place that gave you this quote unquote education, this higher education level of learning, and this is how you repay them back. It just seems like a real dumb thing to do. I never did anything like that in school. I think the worst thing I did was take my notebook with all my papers that you had through the year and just kind of, you know, three-ring binder, unclip the three-ring binder and just kind of threw them in the air out in the courtyard. That's about the worst thing I did, but tell me what you guys did. I'd like to hear from you. Go to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio, click on Be Heard. We'd like to hear what kind of high school prank got you in trouble or that you did or got away with as well. Stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk to Dilly, D-Y-L-I, a rapper, songwriter, and musical artist. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. We'll give you something for free. The way you do that is go to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on the free swag section. Fill out that little form there, and we'll get you some stickers, some magnets. We'll send you out some buttons. We got some buttons as well. Just fill out that little form, and believe me, I'm not going to do anything with your email address. And while you're there, make sure you like and subscribe and share us. For every podcast we do, I have a matching video as well. You can see me waving to you, and you can see all the news articles in real time as we're talking about them here on the podcast. Now, I had an opportunity to speak to a very talented young girl on the phone with us right now, 19-year-old hip-hop musician, singer, songwriter, and rapper. This is Dilly. Dilly, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Now, Dilly is an interesting name. Is that a nickname or is that your birth name?
So Dilly's actually a nickname. My name is Dylan, and growing up, I didn't really like my name too much because it wasn't super feminine, but I love the nickname Dilly, and that's what my parents have always called me growing up.
And you spell it D-Y-L-I, which I think is cool. I was like going, is it Dilly? No, it's just plain Dilly, just like it sounds.
Yep, just Dilly.
So you're 19-year-old. How long have you been doing music in general?
So I started playing guitar when I was 5 years old, and I wrote my first song really after my grandpa passed away in 2014. And I always loved music. I grew up around music. My parents are big music lovers as well. After I wrote my first song, my dad, he had some writing friends and some friends in the industry. And so he was like, oh, let's get you a writing session. And it kind of just grew from there. So I had my first studio session when I was 11 years old. And yeah, it just, everything kind of fell into place.
So since a young age, you've always been in the music in some shape or fashion.
Yes.
You're living in California right now, or are you on the road?
I'm living in California right now.
Okay. When you say you played the song for your grandfather when he passed away, what was your biggest influence as far as grabbing that guitar and not grabbing something else like a piano or something like that? What was your biggest influence as far as going straight to that instrument? And where did you pull from as far as lyric-wise and music-wise?
So I always loved the guitar as long as I can remember. A lot of the music my parents listened to growing up was like reggae or island reggae, and I loved the guitar patterns in those songs. So when I told them I wanted to play an instrument, and they asked me, like, what instrument do you want to play? I just told them guitar. I want to be able to play like that. I want to be able to recreate what I'm hearing. That was my biggest influence when it comes to the instrument. And lyrically, I kind of just pulled from everything that I loved. I listened to everything from rap to jazz to country occasionally too, and I'm not even the biggest country fan. So I just try and take influence from everything that I like.
We're talking to Dilly, a music artist, rapper, and a songwriter as well out there in California. So who are you listening to right now? Like, she's like just killing time around the house. Who are you listening to right now?
In the R&B category, love SZA. I love Summer Walker. I also still am listening to the California island reggae type of music. I grew up listening to the Dirty Heads. They're one of my favorite bands. I listen to them all the time. It's honestly like, I feel like you can never tell with me what kind of music I'm going to be playing today.
You are a rapper, and some of your songs, you kind of do this almost singing rap at the same time that's really big right now, and you're a female. Do you find it hard in the rap game, as the kids say it, being a female artist and getting into primarily a young male-dominated genre?
Yeah, most definitely. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, actually. I don't want to say not the norm, because there's a million female rappers out there who are killing the game, but it's definitely a little bit nerve-wracking.
And what other talents? You said you play the guitar. What other talents do you have outside of music?
Outside of music itself?
What do you do on a daily basis? You know, if you're not writing songs, what are like other activities? Like, do you do, some people like doing photography, some people like painting and drawing because they pull from that artistic standpoint. Is there anything outside of music that you do just to kind of decompress and get your inspirations from?
I feel like I try to dip my toe in a little bit of everything. My mind is sometimes all over the place. So sometimes I'll wake up and I'll be like, I feel like painting today. And I'm far from an artist when it comes to picking up a pen or a pencil or a paintbrush. But I definitely try and dip my toe in everything. Something that really does help me decompress, though, is I love to work out. I trained in MMA for a while.
Oh, really? Wow.
Last year, yeah.
I don't want to meet you down a dark alley, I am assuming.
I wouldn't say that, but maybe. Who knows?
Now, tell me about this latest single that you just had that came out on May 11th of 2022. This is a pop, rap, R&B style. The new song's called Low, L-O-E. Tell me about that.
So Low actually stands for loyalty over everything. And I wrote that song a couple years ago. It was just kind of dedicated to all the people who kind of did me wrong throughout my life. And it really, for a long time, I had a lot of hatred or a lot of dislike for those people until I realized that it helped me grow and realize that the thing that means the most to me as far as people's character traits is their loyalty. So instead of, dwelling on it or hating these people over, I was like, I'm going to write a song about it. After I wrote it, it was more of like, kind of like a diary for me. I wasn't really planning on releasing the song until this year. I was like, you know what? I still love the song. And I was like, I think I want to release this because it means so much to me.
And you also had an EP that came out called I guess, MMMHM, like when you listen to it, you go, that's good. Now, that came out in 2021, and it's an EP, so it only had like 6 different tracks on it. And there's a track on there called Cherry Coke, Low Key, Cotton Candy, and these are just songs you've collected over the years of they weren't all on one album. These are just songs that you wrote over the years, correct?
The songs on the EP are, I was actually working with a new producer at the time. We met at South by Southwest in 2019. His name is Davion. And so we connected and we started working together. So for the songs on the EP, all those tracks I created with him. And so we just had a couple of writing sessions throughout the year. And we had an idea when we first worked with each other that we wanted to create a project because it had been a while since I released the project. We did all of those together. We wrote in the studio and recorded them for this EP specifically.
So we're talking to 19-year-old Dilly, singer, songwriter, rapper, artist, musician, MMA fighter. You're going to see her in the ring out there with Joe Rogan probably here soon. So what is some of the biggest challenges that you've had during your career, starting at 11 years old or even at 5 years old all the way up until now? What are some of the biggest challenges that you're coming across?
I think the biggest challenge, since I did start so young, is a lot of times in my head throughout my career, even still to this day, is making sure that I'm being 100% myself. Because starting so young, obviously I wasn't fully grown into who I'm going to be, who I'm supposed to be. So I think that definitely caused a lot of anxiety or a lot of nerves because as I am growing up, I'm realizing, oh, well, I really like this, or, oh, maybe I want to do this, trying to experiment while simultaneously building my career. So making sure that I'm being 100% myself, it can get a little confusing as you're working on these things while you're growing at the same time.
Through these biggest challenges, what's one of the biggest rewards that you've come across that you're like, yes, I did it, and that's what I want to do, and I did it, I set my goals and everything. What are some of the biggest rewards that you have gotten?
I think my biggest rewards, honestly, are every time that I complete a song, every time that I write a song and I'm like, yes, that's that. I immediately get that feeling. It's also a reminder to me that I know that this is what I want to do with my life. This is my passion. Because every time I finish a project, I'm like, yeah, I did it. This is my work. This is what I have to say. This is what I want to put out and share with the people.
I've listened to your song LOE and also the one called New Bag. Awesome. Both of them are completely two different styles. They stand alone on their own. The music and the production is so incredible, and your voice just kind of floats right over those notes. And it's really, really impressive. You know, a young girl, not necessarily just a girl, a young person at that age doing this kind of music that could easily be on top 20 anywhere.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
We're talking to Dilly, D-Y-L-I, singer, songwriter, rapper out there in the California area, and you're hoping to get on tour here soon, I'm hoping. We'd love to see you out in here on the East Coast.
Yes, I would love to. It's been so long since I've performed.
So what's next for you now?
I'm still going to the studio. I'm constantly writing. I'm hoping to get a project, another maybe EP or maybe a full album out, hopefully by the end of this year or maybe next year. But in the meantime, there is going to be singles and lyric videos and hopefully some music videos. I'm just constantly working, trying to figure out what's next.
And where can all our listeners find you? Where's your social pages, your Instagram, your TikTok? Are you on TikTok? I'm assuming you're on TikTok. I think it's the law. When you turn 18, I think they give you the password to TikTok and you're automatically on it, right? So tell me all your social contacts so our listeners can find you.
So all my social media is Dilly, D-Y-L-I. You can find all the links to my social media, which is probably the easiest way to find it, on my website. It's dillymusic.com, D-Y-L-I music.com, and that has everything I've done and all my social media platforms and any way that you want to listen to me, iTunes, SoundCloud, YouTube, Google Play, all of that good stuff is on my website.
Well, Dilly, I wish you luck. You're a very talented young lady, and I wish you all the luck in the world.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, and thank you for having me.
Stick around, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want to come see me out at out there doing windows at a restaurant? Sure. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, this Saturday, come out and see me. I'll be out at the Union County Ag Center right here in North Carolina. We are just outside Charlotte, North Carolina, so the surrounding areas, I'd love to see you. I got some stickers and stuff. I'll be out there at the Ag Center this Saturday from 9 to 3 o'clock. I got a whole bunch of stuff for you. I'm going to be doing a little show out there. I co-host another podcast called Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein. Mike Stein's a very wild, world-renowned farrier. He's been in the equestrian games. He's been in the eventing games. He's trained over in New Zealand. He's trained all over Europe. And he has called this little town that we live in home. So I do a podcast with him. He's doing a little demonstration out there. He's got a little 15-minute talk. And then we have a little booth out there. You guys can come stop by and see us and talk to us. And I'll sign your forearm if you want me to, and give you some free stickers and magnets and stuff. That is the Union County Ag Center. And for more information, go over to our Facebook page. And I'll have more details there as well. Now, with Memorial Day coming up and everyone's kind of cooking out, I've got a whole family of people coming over here this weekend. I'm going to be smoking a brisket and probably 2 whole chickens on the big smoker that we have here. I'm going to start the brisket probably the night before, and then the chickens, because that'll take about 12 hours for the brisket, and then the 2 whole birds I'm going to put in there. Those usually take anywhere from 6 to 7 hours to do the whole chickens. So that is what we're having. Plus, my wife is making macaroni and cheese, homemade macaroni and cheese. We're going to have baked beans. My aunt's bringing something called what she calls buffalo chicken. We can't figure out what that is. Is it chicken wings? Is it chicken wraps? We don't know what it is, but that's what she's bringing in coleslaw. Ugh, hate coleslaw. And I'll be doing baked beans. My wife is doing that. I also made some Cajun-style boiled peanuts. My dad said he hates boiled peanuts as I'm finishing the 2 crock pots full of boiled peanuts. Now, one thing you need to be careful out there is your little poochie. You know, it's nothing for you to give them like table scraps and stuff. But one thing you need to look out for is an unknown item that I didn't know was causing problems. Most dog owners know that pooches shouldn't have chocolate, but there's another common food item that your dog should not chow down on. That's corn on the cob. That means warm weather cookouts gathering will soon present surprisingly danger for the dogs of your owners of... That means warm weather cookouts gatherings will soon present a surprising danger for your dogs. Dogs can eat corn and is an ingredient in most commercial dog foods, and it can be a part of a well-balanced diet plan, according to the American Kennel Club. Just make sure your dog's not allergic to them before you give it to them. But corn on the cob is a no-no for dogs because the cob itself is indigestible. Eating some of it could mean surgery or even death for your dog. Details at 11. Unlike chocolate, corn on the cob does not contain toxins or anything like that, dangerous to dogs, but the problem is the dogs can't digest the cob itself. The biggest concern with potential for the cob is getting stuck in the digestive tract, which would cause problems later on. But the corn itself, whether it's on the cob or in a can or in the dog food, can be healthy for a dog's diet. So if you got you're mowing down on your doing the whole typewriter thing with your corn on the cob, don't just flip it out in the yard and think the dog's going to eat it. No, they can't digest, and they don't know they can't digest it, and they'll sit there and eat the whole thing because this is good. Mommy and Daddy are eating it. I'm eating it too, and then all of a sudden the cob doesn't digest in their food, and you got to take them in to get surgery or something. It's the same thing with like those rawhide bones. I don't give my dog rawhide because they physically cannot digest it. It always comes out in their poop. You ever seen a dog that's eating like a rawhide chew toy or something like that? And they're pooping. They got this long string sticking out of their butt. I know, riveting conversation, right? And you got to go out there with a paper towel, or if you just want to quote unquote raw dog it, just grab the rawhide out of the dog's ass and just wink, watch them start up like a pull string mower. Now, someone who's getting a whole lot of flack right now is my favorite place to shop, and that's Walmart. Now, I don't know why they're getting so much flack, but, it takes 3 people to cause an uproar or a riot or anything like that because 3 people didn't like it, or they're making fun of it, and then they were like, well, I'm offended too. I wasn't offended. Now I'm offended. So next month, Joe Biden, I know, it'll be soft, don't worry. In 2021, Joe Biden signed a bill into law establishing Juneteenth as a federal holiday. Now, Juneteenth occurs on June 19th, celebrates the day in 1865 when Union soldiers informed enslaved population of Galveston, Texas, that they were free. So this is a day that celebrates that, commemorating that day. So what does Walmart do? They create a Juneteenth ice cream to celebrate it. This is comprised of red velvet and cheesecake flavors, according to this report. Share and celebrate African-American culture, emancipation, and enduring hope, the label says. On many social media sites, call out the store for using the holiday as a marketing scheme. So, you ready for this? The Juneteenth holiday marks a celebration of freedom and independence, Walmart says in a statement. However, we received feedback from a few items that causes concern for some of our customers, and we sincerely apologize. We are reviewing the assortment and will remove this as soon as appropriate. So when you look at it, it's got the African colors of the flag, the red, the yellow, the green, kind of like the Rastafarian that you would see sometimes. And it says celebration edition. And it says swirled red velvet and cheesecake flavored ice cream. Keep frozen. And it's got 2 hands kind of like slapping high fives and a guy doing a peace sign in the background. It says celebrate edition Juneteenth ice cream trademark. Now, they said, So they say that they're taking advantage of a federal holiday by creating this ice cream. All right. So here's a couple things I just want to throw out there for you. Ready? Don't they have like a Christmas cookie ice cream? Don't they have like for Valentine's Day, they have like a mint chocolate chip or some kind of everyone, this is not a new thing. This is not a new thing when you celebrate a federal holiday by creating some kind of flavor that represents the holiday. Now, I like red velvet and I like cheesecake, but does that represent the Juneteenth theme? I would think, personally, the Neapolitan ice cream would be a great representation of that. You've got the black. Boy, I just stepped right into that one. You've got the chocolate, you've got the white, and you've got the white. Stepped in it twice. You got vanilla, and then you've got the red, the strawberry. And I would think that the strawberry would symbolize the blood that would float over the battle of, equal rights and freedom and all that stuff. I would think Neapolitan ice cream would represent, at least symbolize it better. But of course, Neapolitan has already claimed their fame to being, their claim to fame is directed at households that can't make up their mind as far as what ice cream they want. But I mean, red velvet cake and cheesecake swirl flavor. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, you're talking about, you've got Thanksgiving ice cream, which is usually like apple pie or some kind of cherry pie ice cream. Nothing wrong with that. I don't see any problem with that. You got Christmas ice cream, or it's got, like a cake flavor or Christmas or some kind of sugar cookie ice cream with Christmas trees. Christ's sakes, you got Little Debbie that will come out with every shape of freaking cake, depending on. You got what is it? St. Patrick's Day. They got shamrocks. You've got Easter. They've got Easter shaped things. Little Debbie will make a shape of a cake in whatever federal holiday that's out there. Juneteenth should not make any difference. Are they trying to make a money grab on it? Well, sure. Then go blame all the other holiday decorations or holiday food-based flavors that they have out there. Don't just because it's Juneteenth and it's new and you're thinking that it's because you know what they're doing. I didn't even say it. Well, I said it a couple times, but I mean, they're throwing race into this. They're thinking that they're trying to make money off this race-related thing, which I think is a false narrative. I don't think that should be great. I don't think they should go that direction. Now, if they would have said, we love the Juneteenth ice cream, but I don't like the flavors, then that's another story. But don't say they're taking advantage of the celebration of African-American culture, emancipation, and enduring hope. No, don't say they're taking advantage of that, because they do that with every federal holiday. Are you guys that dumb? Pay attention. Read a book or something. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, we're going to talk to IT Dan and find out, is this going somewhere? You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, for all the musical artists that you hear on Deacon Live, past, present, and some that are going to happen here in the future, they're all independent artists. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, for every musical artist that you hear on Deacon Live, and you want to hear the full-length album or the full-length song, if you want to hear the full-length song, go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio, and there's a section there that says Music Heard On. Go ahead and download that. Show them some love. Most of those artists are independent, just trying to make their way in the world today, and it takes everything they got. Now, we're going to find out right now, is this going somewhere with IT Dan?
We'll just talk about today and stuff, but you get them on the right track. It's very interesting. So, I was just over Ron's house, working on his motorhome.
Oh, good. The police are after you. I hear the police in the background.
No, there was some ding. I don't know what that was for. No police. So. But I've had a busy week, and today was an easy job. Just in his motorhome, he had some benches that were the way they just stapled 1 by 3s. And people are against another board. People are supposed to sit on it. I know. So I just completely rebuilt that today. I know. And, well, I could tell you stuff that didn't happen when we talk about those things. So, yeah. And I did put all 4 stops on that Corvette. It went well this weekend.
All 4 stops on the what? On the Corvette?
On a Corvette. My neighbor's Corvette. I replaced 4 shocks.
Oh, shocks. I thought you said stops.
Yeah.
What year Corvette, Dan? Hold on. Let's dive into this. Let me teach you how to make an interesting story, Dan. All right.
Okay.
So you go, okay, a friend of mine next door has got a Corvette. Do you know what year Corvette it is? No, I don't. What year Corvette is it?
It's 2003, 50th anniversary model.
50, and what color is the 50th anniversary? Because sometimes what they do is they make it a special color for a special for that year. Like the Lamborghini, I think the 25th anniversary was they were all purple, like this real high test purple. So this is the 50th year for the Corvette, and what color was it?
It was red, and it's got a 427 with a 5-speed standard transmission.
Now, are they all red, the 50-year anniversary? Because I've seen red Camaros before. I mean, is that going to get confusing?
Well, no. Well, Camaro's a different car.
I'm sorry, Camaro. The Corvette. I mean, I've seen red Corvettes a million times. They're a dime a dozen. So you're telling me the 50th anniversary, they didn't come out with a special color for that? Was there like an emblem or something on the car that telling you?
Well, yeah, there is an emblem.
You get excited, Dan. You get so excited. I hear you in the background.
No, and I mean, I've seen that color on other Corvettes, so it's not a special color for it.
So why even produce a 50th year anniversary Corvette if you're not going to put a special color on that's only available that one time?
You'd have to talk to someone from Chevrolet about that.
All right. So you're dealing with this 50-year anniversary Corvette. You're putting new shocks on it. Why does it need new shocks on it?
Oh, they're totally worn out, but there's something different about this. On certain models, they have what's called a C55 suspension.
Okay.
And they're electronic shocks. There's you have electric cable wiring that snaps onto these shocks. And what it does is it changes the viscosity of the oil in the shocks from touring to sport, which they've made it in a few other vehicles, but it went to the dealership. They wanted $4,800 for 4 shocks.
And you did it with a hammer and a broken chisel for $50.
No, I said him $100 a shock, but we were able to find him online for $2,000, so we saved over $2,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they weren't the most difficult thing I've done, but they were challenging.
All right.
You had to work at it.
All right, so here's the challenge that I have. So how many? You said it was 2004. What year did you say?
2003.
2003. So I was off a year. So it's a 2003 Corvette.
Yeah.
No special colors or anything. 50-year anniversary, and so this car is just coming up on going to be 20 years old. This car itself. How many miles were on this car?
Can I be honest with you?
No, I want you to lie your ass off.
Well, I didn't look. I went for riding it afterwards, but I did not look at the odometer.
You did not look at the odometer. So you're sitting there, and here's my personal opinion. I've got a couple personal opinions about Corvettes, and I'll tell you, and you're going to agree or disagree. But, for example, a Corvette, when it comes out, brand new on the showroom floor, you look at it like, wow, that's a new Corvette. And I've said this a million times before, and there's a couple other cars that fall into this category. You're like, man, that car looks awesome. And then next year, you're like going, ooh, that's last year's model. And then 3-4 years down the road, you're like going, God, like the headlight's not working right. The paint's kind of doesn't have the same effect that it did. And it's like they futurized that car, the Corvette, but they gone way past what the audience or the general public expects that car to be, and it just kind of tanks. That you look at a Corvette from, let's say, the 2003. You look at that. Were you impressed with it? Like when you look at the body style, you look at that. That's a cutting edge thing. Is it a motor thing, or is it a body style? The body style, in my opinion, they just suck. After about 3 years, you look at it and go, that should be a rent-a-car. That's what it should be. It should be a rent-a-car.
Yeah, and I wasn't that impressed, and I actually went to riding it.
So here's my second question. Hold on. Here's my second. How many miles did he have to drive to blow those shocks out? Where is he going? Is he going down is he driving through South Carolina and there's shitty roads out there?
No, he actually takes it out just for enjoyment ride. He doesn't.
Where, a quarry?
Yeah, probably quarry. Yes, somewhere there. But I mean, it's in good shape. But it's not like you look at. I don't get overly excited looking at it.
No,
it doesn't look great or anything.
Yeah, I mean they've lost their elegance many years ago when they went from the Stingray body and they started doing fiberglass on them.
I believe they've always been fiberglass. far as I.
No, I mean, the Stingrays were pretty much a metal. I mean, in the 70s, the late 70s, they were all pretty much, except for the ground effects. They had fiberglass on the ground effects. But, I mean, they were pretty much mostly some kind of alloy, or not alloy because that's real heavy, but some kind of metal-based frame. But you don't have the elegance anymore. You don't see those lines. Like when you look at it, even an old box-style Chevy pickup truck, you look at those lines and you're like going, man, that was a manufactured. That was manufactured here in the United States. You could tell that. Yeah. But when you see a Corvette, you look at that and like going, that looks like it was punched. It was made on a 3D printer is what it looks like. It looks like those cars are made on a 3D printer now.
And the brand new ones, I'm impressed with the looks of them. They look sharp when you see them coming down the road. Futuristic. I like the new. The last couple of years have been good.
No, they're all garbage.
I would not buy one. I wouldn't buy one. It's just not for me.
I worked with a guy. I worked in a. Well, I say I worked with a guy. I worked in a nightclub, and the owner. He was making money hand over fist. He didn't know how to spend his money, and he ended up spending his money on pills and stuff. He didn't do well. He did cocaine and stuff, but he had a lot of money coming in, and he bought at the time. I think it was a 2000. It might have been the anniversary 2003, and he bought it in jet black, where it has the speedometer projects up on the dashboard or on the windshield. Did that one do it or no? You have no idea. You have no idea. So he took me out for a ride in his Corvette, and we're riding around on a road called in downtown Orlando. It's called 441 or Orange Blossom Trail. And the way they made the roads back then were you know how they do the square blocks, and every 12 feet is a square block. Instead of doing like one long asphalt, they do like a square concrete. So you have all these and I'm riding in the thing and I'm like going, this is horrible. I'm so uncomfortable in this thing. One, I feel like I'm laying on the ground. Two, I feel like every bump is shattering my spine. That's probably why the guy had to replace the shocks in his car.
Yeah, and afterwards we're riding on it, and he drove me through the construction that they're doing near our house. You know, the same roads I go on all the time. And he goes, this is so much better. And I'm riding in it, and I go...
You got to put a mouthpiece in, like a football mouthpiece, just keep your teeth from breaking.
Yes, my wonderful Kia with 278,000 miles on it rides smoother than this. My Kia does ride better. And
well, it's like being drunk in a car accident. As long as your body's like fluent and kind of wiggly and stuff, and you get in a car accident, you don't break any bones. Your Kia is the same way. It's kind of like just wiggly and jiggly.
No, my Kia is actually fairly solid. It does rattle a little bit, so. But I did do the new shocks and struts maybe like 20,000 miles ago.
Right.
So, and for $14,000 brand new, and I've had it 14 years now, and knock on wood, it still runs good and still out working and doing. You see all the jobs I've done with it. So
back to the vet. So what did we learn about the vet?
Oh, well, no, we got all the shocks in it, and it's working good, and he's thrilled. He's very happy with it. Saved him a couple grand easily. So did you make $1,000 on that job? No, I made $100 shocks. It's $400.
Oh, okay. How long did it take?
8 hours altogether.
8 hours. Let me do the math on that. So that's 8 hours. 8 hours.
$50 an hour.
So you charge them basically $50 an hour to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, no, I charged them $400 and it just worked out that way.
Oh, okay.
Yes, but yes, if you do the math, though.
Well, are you happy with the $400, or was it more than you could handle?
No, that was fine for me.
Now, a Lincoln Mark 7. Speaking about your shocks and stuff, when it gets to a certain speed, and I think there's a couple other cars that used to do this, but I think the Lincoln Mark 7. Do you remember those cars?
Yes.
I forget what year it did, but when it reached a certain speed, and Jaguars actually do this as well, because I know a friend of mine had it that did it. The suspension would tighten down and actually physically bring the car lower to the concrete. so there was less air drag or less air movement underneath the car. Is that basically what these electronic shocks did, or no?
No, they would just adjust the ride. But I did notice underneath the car, it had sensors, a little round part sensors that connected to the upper control arms. So they must send something back to the car and let it know what the handling is like. It's a round pot, and it has a plunger that attaches onto the upper control arm. And the back wheels has an axle, but it also has tie rods on the back of it. So I believe when you're going around a corner, they may slightly change the wheel some too.
A good friend of mine bought at the time, I don't know what year, before 2010, bought a Jaguar. And this is when Ford still owned Jaguar. Do they still own it? I don't know. And she had that where the car would drop down because of the suspension, because she would go so fast. I say go so fast, it would change the suspension based on your speed. And it never popped back up. So she must have, let's say you go down the highway, you're going from point A to point B, it's all highway miles, so it's like 100 miles highway. The suspension would drop down, and then when she got where she was going, the suspension never released. And so she's driving around town, and she's like, God, this car rides like shit. And because the Jaguar didn't release the suspension back up, and it was a big recall and a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, Amy's Audi out there does the same thing, but you physically have to put it in dynamic mode. And what it does is it tightens up the springs a little bit and lowers the chassis just a little bit. It's really neat to see. Plus the gear ratio, the shifting in between is real neat too. Welcome to Car Talk here on DeaconLive.
Yes.
Or on yeah.
But some of the engineering, some of it is some of these cars and the new Mercedes and we probably don't even get to notice it, but some of the engineering on these cars is incredible what they do for them.
I know. I had to fill up the Audi the other day, and my dad goes, "Why are you putting 93 in there?" I'm like, I got it because of the turbo. I got to keep the turbo clean. He goes, "This has turbo?" I'm like, "Dad, this is a 4-cylinder." And then he goes, "This is a 4-cylinder?" I'm like, going, "Yeah." He goes, "Holy shit." He's like, "I thought it was like a Quattro V8 or something like that." I'm like, "No, Quattro means 4-cylinder." So there you go.
Yeah. Oh, is that why they call it Quattro?
Yes, it's the Quattro. Yeah, it's the Quattro engine with the turbo in it.
I thought Spectra means 4-cylinder because my Kia has 4 cylinders.
I'm not even entertaining that, Dan. What else is going on? Anything?
No, actually, I've got this appointment tomorrow. That's boring. That ought to put you to sleep.
Yep. What kind of doctor's appointment?
Just a regular checkup for me and Kathy. So,
are you guys doing it together, like a couple's checkup, or is it you got your own separate rooms? No,
our doctor's so cheap. We got the same rooms and stuff. This time, I don't think the goat's going to be there, but we have our appointments at the same time. My wife hates that, but we go in and get out. I think the doctor gives us 15 minutes for both of us and gets it all done. So,
do you get the finger wave?
Yes. I don't know if I'm going to get that this week, but my doctor.
This week? What do you mean this week?
No,
I don't. How often do you get it?
No, I don't go that way. Yeah, every once in a while they just say bend over. I don't know if I haven't got an agenda what's going on this time.
So they say bend over, and you have no idea, and you're just like, oh, I could get a lollipop, or I could get a finger in my ass.
Yes, I could get that. Yeah, and I hate when it's 2 fingers because they want a second opinion. That's the worst.
But I'm bummed.
Yep. So all your relatives are coming this weekend coming up.
Yeah, they changed their dates from Friday to Monday to now Saturday to Tuesday. And I will be out at the Union County Ag Center on Saturday from like 10 to 3 or something like that.
Okay, so well, that should be interesting. And you sure you got everything set to go?
For what?
No, I'm being there. Laptop and everything's going to work?
For what I'm going to do at this live event, yes. I have not bought the new laptop, so.
And you do have electric to give you 110 volt power?
I want my own dedicated circuit, And so I'm not going to run off a generator or anything like that. So I've got my bucket of power cords, anywhere from, I've got a 100-foot, I've got a 50-foot, 25-foot, I've got a couple quote unquote power strips, and then those little 14-3, brown cords that you use at Christmas time where you plug it in and have like 3 outlets on the other end. Yeah.
No, I think you'd be golden and stuff. And you're going to be careful with your music selection.
No, I'm not playing any music while I'm out there.
Okay. Oh.
We're just doing the Equine Dynamics podcast out there.
Oh, well, that should be interesting. And you said, but from 10 to 3, or you'll be doing that?
I'll be out there from 10 to 3. We're probably going to do, like a 15-minute segment, and then, listen to some music, answer some questions, and do another 15-minute segment, and then listen to some music, answer, because we have like a little booth out there. So.
Okay. Well, that should be interesting.
Are you going to come out and see us?
I have to go. Where do I have to go? I'll think of something. So, I got to go look at a house for my brother-in-law. We're meeting a realtor.
Well, good.
He's looking to buy another house in Wood Run in our development.
Oh, well, that's exciting.
I did. Yep, that's just, and I got to mow a lawn and that. That's the only thing left this week. So, and probably just catch up on last week was a busy week. Spray painting, furniture, and things. I was entertaining thoughts of going back to work so I get some rest. But that's all.
I'm just letting you stew. Dan, I'm just letting you stew in it. I'm just letting you stew.
No, and I'm just telling you, it's not. For retirement, it's been a busy week. It wasn't a week sitting around doing nothing. I kept busy almost every day of the week.
Well, good.
And everything's worked out well. So.
What do you mean everything's worked out well?
No, I mean every job I've done has worked out well, and
well, in your eyes,
yeah.
When you leave, they probably cuss you out.
Yeah, no. Well, they lied to me and told me they were happy, so that's all that matters. So. Oh, and I'm going to the bank today to make a deposit.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I knew you wanted to hear that.
Did you get a new pen to write down everything, or do you do just swipe your card and show your ID?
Did you just hear the police come by? That was a fire truck chasing going the other direction.
Oh, so. Good, exciting.
No, everything is doing well.
Well, good, Dan.
Yeah,
very good.
My PlayStation 4 is working.
Mine's not.
Oh, but I had the power out at my house. The power came back on, and it couldn't find my external drive, and I couldn't play any because all my games download onto external drive. Couldn't play anything. Don't do this to me. Don't make me. I have to go over and kill all these people in Assassin's Creed all over again. And then after a couple of times, I started up and then plugged the drive in. It always does a repair on it, and then it works fine.
So maybe that's what I need for you to look at my thing.
Yeah, we can definitely give it a try. Sometimes you have to take it out, put it in the car, and drive around the block, and then come back home and then start it up, and it's happy. It thinks it went to the repair shop. Well,
Dan, and Kathy are welcome to come over this Memorial Day weekend. If you want to meet the whole fam and everything, you're welcome to come by.
I do want to meet your dad, but I want to meet him where I got time to sit and talk to him.
What are you going to do, like a front porch sessions or something with him?
No, not just sit by and say, "Oh, how you doing? You're Travis's dad. How you doing? Have a nice day."
I think it would be more fun to sit there and listen to the stories, between these three elders, and then absorb it from there.
Nobody wants to do that.
So what you're saying is the gas is too expensive for you to come over this way.
No.
You would actually lose money in your budget, which I see how it is, Dan. It's all right. It's all right. No, it's all right. I understand.
How many times have I driven to your house, and how many times have you driven to my house?
Well, every time I come over here, I pay you.
Yeah. No, you don't.
Just about.
No, but we've and I've come over a lot.
Yeah, you can't think out a way how to get out of that one, can you?
And you only came over to my house once. You don't even remember what that was for.
To drop something off for you to fix so I can drive back over there and pay you for fixing it.
I don't even remember what it was. I remember you came over, though. And
how soon we forget, Dan? How soon we forget?
And the security guard wouldn't let you in. I remember that. And what did you come over for? Do you remember?
Yes. I came over because I wanted to see your shop and everything that you did. So I drove over there. And I looked at everything, and I was like, well, I got to stop by Lowe's and get some stuff anyway. So I came over there, and you showed me your shop. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And you didn't, I owed you money, too. See, that's the thing. I owed you money for something, and I had to give you money because you came out, and you were like going, put the money on this counter over here. I was like I was doing some kind of drug deal. Put it in this box. I put the money in the box and closed it. Some kind of wooden box you made, and then you left it in your little work area there. And you're like going, all right, well, stand back because we're gonna talk now. Just stand back a little bit. I'm like, all right, Dan, this is a little ridiculous,
now
but all right, yeah,
all coming back to me now.
Yeah.
But that was good. But yeah,
no, it wasn't good. It was awkward.
I know. And let me see what our plans are, and we'll see what's going on.
Dan, that's all right. When you say let me see what my plans are, you just said you're going to take the next week off because you've been busy for retirement.
We do have to go to the realtors.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. All right.
Everything else all right? Kathy's doing all right.
Yeah. She's still having problems coughing up things all the time, but
not like Legos or something.
No, she's just having problems with her lungs, and that's why one of the reasons we're going to the doctor. So,
all right,
but I will catch up with you later.
All right, are you almost home yet?
No, I still got a ways to go.
Okay.
And, do you want to have a long segment?
We're already pushing 25 minutes, Dan.
Okay. All right. Well, I will catch you later.
All right. I'll talk to you later. Drive safely. Okay. We had a big hurricane storm that came through here just a minute ago. So.
Okay. I'll just check. I'll catch you later.
Talk to you later. There you go. Dan. Stick around. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And while you're over at the Prophet Radio website, make sure you get yourself some free swag and click on the little button that says Be Heard. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your opinion about the show. Or if you just want to give a shout out, you can be part of the show. And it's that easy. Just click on Be Heard. Opens up a microphone. You say yes. You can make up a name. I don't care. Throw your email address in there. I'm not going to do anything with it. I just need a place to send it, a confirmation that, yes, we got your message, and then we'll play it on the very next podcast. And you can ask any question from any podcast that we've been doing here for the last 6 years or so. Now, as you guys know, my dad lives with us. My mom passed away back in February. My dad's living with us right now while we get his property, until we get his little tiny home built on the back side of the property. It's taking a little bit longer, but, we want to make sure it's done right with all the permitting and stuff, and make sure that it's something that he's going to want and enjoy living in for the rest of his life. And his sister and brother are coming up here with their spouses. So we'll have them, a whole house full of people here over the weekend, over the Memorial Day weekend. And I hope you guys can have some time with your family as well. Now, my dad sometimes amazes me. When I say that, I use that term very loosely. So we're in the kitchen. My dad usually gets up about 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock, makes coffee, goes out. His job is to let the chickens out of the chicken coop. We have a big old chicken house over there. He opens the door and all the chickens run out on the property. And so that's his thing. And then he makes coffee and sits on the back porch and kind of enjoys the morning. Now, for those of you who don't know, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. We sit on about 22 some odd acres. We have horses, chickens, cattle, goats, dogs, cats, me, oh my. So then we get up, my wife and I get up, and then we all gather together, and he's already had breakfast. At 5 o'clock, we get up. By the time we get back in the house from feeding the horses, he's ready for breakfast number 2 at 8:30. So he's always asking me if I have any leftover grits. I'm like, yeah, Dad, there's a couple cups in there, a couple spoonful of grits in there. Help yourself. So one of the things he says, you know what I've been listening to? This is his thing now, because he's got his little room. He's got his own little, I say little room. He's got a good size room. It's 15 by 20. It's a good size room there. And he's got his computer all set up, and he's got all these monitors. He's kind of like me, like an older version of me. Oh, God. Did I say that? But he's got video games and stuff that he plays. Oh, my God. Did I say that too? But he's been listening to a whole bunch of like older music that, whatever that he likes. So he comes out in the kitchen. I'm sitting there making my morning coffee. He goes, oh, man. I'm like, when someone says that, they're like, they want you to ask them what's wrong, that type. So he goes, oh, man. I go, why? What's up? He's like, man, I've been listening to some good rock and roll music. I'm like, yeah? Like who? He's like, you ever heard of Led Zeppelin? I go, the band Led Zeppelin, like Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, John Bonham, and what's the other guy's name? Steve Parker. He's like, yeah. Oh, you've heard of them? I'm like, yeah, Dad. They were like 70s, and I think they broke up in like 79, 81, something like that. Yeah, he's like, man, I love Led Zeppelin. They're good. And I'm like, okay. I said, take them or leave them there. All right, they're kind of, I said, musically, they're fine. I don't get into their lyrics and stuff, but I can appreciate talent when I see talent. Yeah, and Pink Floyd? Do you like them? I go, God, no, I can't stand Pink Floyd. Can't stand Pink Floyd. Again, I understand talent. I just don't get into that. Hello, hello, hello. Is there anybody in there? Not if you can hear me. Is there anyone home? And then, and the music in the background. Now, granted, back in that time, it was so interesting and so music we have today. Nothing against the artists that are displayed here on Deacon Live, but the music back then, it took so much technical stuff to make it do all the sounds and stuff that you hear back in those days. They were working with friggin' reel-to-reel tapes. They didn't have a digital thing that sit there and, like every good boy has a day or something like you put whatever the word is, and then I want some more echo on that. I want some more reverb on that. All the rap artists and stuff out there, it's just a click and a click and a click, and then 2 clicks and your vocals sound perfect. As to back then, they had to sit there and tweak and turn, a mixing board as big as this friggin' desk that I'm working on here, and just to do one track, just one track, and that's the drum track. Nobody cares about the drums. Well, it keeps the rhythm, keeps the beat. If I don't have a good beat to it, I can't dance to it. And then they would take that track and they dump it into a mixing or an analog magnetic tape, and then they do another track, and they dump that in there. And when it was all said and done, you have all these different tapes and stuff, and you had to combine them all together and cut and splice. I mean, physically cut and splice the stuff together. I appreciate the talent. I appreciate all the work that it goes into doing that. But I'm like going, I know I don't get into them. Oh, and CC Cretan's Clearwater Revival. Yes, Dad, I've heard of all these people. Now, the reason why I say yes, and I'm kind of shaking my head, like shaking him off at the same time. Hold on. When I was growing up, my dad played guitar, so of course you want to mimic your father or whatever he does. So I learned how to play the guitar a little bit. Not his type of music that I was playing, but still, nonetheless, I did listen to a lot of. At the time, it wasn't called classic rock. It was just called rock. That's what was playing on the air. And I did listen to Led Zeppelin. I did listen to all those other songs and other bands, not Pink Floyd, couldn't stand them, but other bands in that genre. And my dad, I remember many times my dad would come in there and bang on my door, like off the hinges, bang on the door. Turn that shit down. Turn that shit down. And I'm like, oh, sorry. But the way our house was set up, I was on the back of the house, and the TV and all the entertainment was in the very front of the house. So it was a good span apart from each other. And he would knock them. And I would get in so much trouble playing my music so loud, the same music now that he's listening to and enjoying. And I'm like going, I don't know what's happening. Am I in like Bizarro world? Dad, do you remember yelling at me because I would play this music? And I would ask him, Dad, you play guitar. Can you teach me how to play these songs? Well, they're only using 3 strings. You know, I play all 6 strings, you know, that type deal. It's before like the power chord came out, the D7ths, the E7ths, all those power chords that were making these rock bands or metal bands very popular. I play a B flat minor and the key of G, you know, and he's very talented as far as playing the guitar. He's really good. If you ever listen to Jim Croce and that style, that tempo that Jim Croce used to play, that's exactly what my dad would sound like. And but you know, growing up, I was like, hey, can you teach me these songs by Led Zeppelin? No, that's not music. And then fast forward to now, I'm sitting there drinking coffee in my, you know, my living room or my kitchen area on an island. He's living with me and he comes out and he's like, I love Led Zeppelin. I think they're the most awesomest band in the world. I'm like going, oh, see, what happened? What happened to you, Dad? Where's my dad? Where's the guy who said, you know, that's too loud and banging on my door and busting the hinges off the door because it was too loud. Anyways, all right, when we come back, one more segment. We'll let you get back to what you got to do. Stick around. You listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well. And you can see exactly what's going on here in the studio during in real time as we're doing the podcast right here. You can see me waving to the camera. There's back camera there. And this is a great time to jump on the video feed because I've got a lot of videos I want to show you. You are not going to believe it unless you see it as well. And you can see my monitor here in real time as I'm talking about it here on the podcast. Go over to YouTube, search Deacon Live Podcast, and make sure you like, subscribe, and do all that stuff. Now, you ready for this one? So there is. Let's backtrack a little bit. So, are you guys familiar with TikTok? Yes, we are, Deacon. You're so dumb. I know. Sorry. That viral TikTok hack that's been out there. I mean, TikTok's very filled with a lot of videos that help you hack some stuff. You know, how to, you know, fix a hole in the drywall. You know, how to nail 2 nails together or something silly like that. But there's all these different hacks that are available on the TikTok website. One of the hacks that's right now is avocados. Now, remember we were talking about there was going to be an avocado shortage because Mexico didn't like the barter boss that was at the loading dock, so they boycotted their avocados because I guess he called them a prick or something like that. Well, right now there's a video out there that the FDA is warning you not to get involved with. This TikTok video is viewed 1 million times, exclaiming that you could store your avocados and water in the fridge up to a month. This hack so far has a new view. The exact same avocado preservation method has gone viral on Facebook a few months ago, also grabbing the attention from major news outlets like Today, like the Today TV show. In both cases, the FDA came out against the practice, commenting on the water uses. Using water to preserve avocado isn't a foolproof as social media posts has implied. Now, if you want to see this video, go over to Prophet Radio. Go over to YouTube, and you can see for every podcast we do a matching video. Here's the actual video that they say. Store your avocados in water in the fridge. This avocado is over 2 weeks old. As they take the knife and score it around, boom, 2 weeks old. Still good. Pop the seed out. They call it a pit, not a seed, dummy. Still good to go. And that's the hack that's coming out that everyone's going, oh, that I believe that. I can do that. Well, what they're saying is the FDA research published in 2018 found that out of 1,615 avocado samples, over 17% had Listeria monocytogenes contamination on their skins. As a result, the government already recommends, even if you plan to cut the rind or peel off the product before eating it, it's still important to wash the dirt and bacteria so it isn't transferred onto the knife and through the fruit. So what they're saying is the FDA gets a little bit more specific on debunking the up to a month claim. In addition, research performed by the FDA scientists show that the Listeria, let's put it that way, screw the big words, has potential to infiltrate and internalize into the pulp of the avocados when submerged and refrigerated in what they're calling dump tanks within 15 days, turning the refrigerator storage. Within 15 days during the refrigeration storage. In this case, even the surface disinfecting avocado skin prior to slicing would not help to remove the contaminant. So what they're saying is, because you're dipping them in water, you're actually soaking them like I would soak my boiled peanuts. And the way I get that hot flavor in there is you let those peanuts soak. Man, I cut up habaneros and just let that soak into the peanuts, and they're really, really hot. They're saying that the Listeria does the same thing. If you put the avocados in a bowl of water and stick them in the refrigerator for a month, the Listeria will actually leach out and leach into the pulp of the avocado. So do not store your avocados in the fridge for a month. Maybe a couple of weeks, yeah, not a month. They're saying that that disease will get in there and make you go poo-poo. Speaking of bowel movements, something I was telling my dad when he first moved in about our tomato plants. I said, you have to pee on the tomato plants to make them grow better. And he started laughing. Ha, ha, ha. That's funny. I'm like, no, it's serious. I read articles and stuff. Ha, 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 ha. Turn on my Led Zeppelin and leave me alone. But researchers now say if you pee on your plants, human urine can be used effectively and sustainable for fertilizer. Human urine can be used as safe and effective crop fertilization. Researchers said the study shows that using pee is a substitute for commercial chemical fertilizers and could have a positive impact on the environment. If you say that urine that you produce all day long, there's enough fertilizer in there to grow all the wheat that you need to make a loaf of bread. Here we go. It's a huge amount of nutrients that would grow a significant portion of our dietary needs just from the nutrients in our urine. The Rich Earth Institute, based in Vermont, runs the country's first community-scale urine recycling program. It conducts research on safety and efficiency of pee as a replacement for chemical fertilizers. One way the group collects pee from the donors is by using urine diverting toilets that keeps the liquid separated from the solids. Here we go. Urine contains essential nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphate, which also helps plants grow, commonly found in synthetic fertilizers. When you look at fertilizers, you see those three numbers. The first one's nitrogen. The second one is phosphate. The last one is potash. So basically top growth, middle growth, and top growth, middle growth, any kind of fruits or flowers, and then bottom growth. Your potash is usually your bottom growth for a strong root system. When the urine enters our waste system, nutrients become pollutants because water treatment infrastructure does not totally remove them, causing an environmental issue, and also is harmful to algae blooms because they put a bunch of chemicals in it. So what they're saying is, start saving your pee. I'm going to start right now. I'm going to put it in big pickle jars, and we're going to start dumping my urine, the whole house. We'll make it a family fair. I'm going to have those big 1 gallon pickle jars by all the toilets. And what is it? If it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. Well, I'm going to say, if you got to pee, get on your knee and pee in the jar, and we'll save it. And then we'll have great salsa with all the tomato plants and stuff we got out there. All right, one more before I let you go. If you want to see this video, make sure you're watching this in real time over there on YouTube. So here we go. In the file of anyone can actually be famous, this cat goes viral by playing a ukulele. But is he, though, really playing the ukulele? Let me blow this up a little bit. I think the cat... Hold on, I got to turn this on. Stop playing. So a cat is basically... curiosity killed the cat. And this guy's got a ukulele. It's laying down flat on a table or something. The cat's kind of like sticking his nose into it. So here he goes. He's going to start... quote unquote, what they say, look at this cat play a ukulele. He's biting the strings is what he's doing. He's biting the strings, and he found out, hey, if I bite the string, it'll make a sound. And then here comes the owner's hand into the picture and holding the fret down to change the note.
What good boy.
Now he's pawing at it.
Boy.
Millions. It's a 17-second video, and he's like, oh, look, the cat's playing the ukulele. Look how talented he is. You probably put sugar on it or honey. He's biting it or licking it. No, not buying it. Good boy. Good dumb cat. All right, guys, we thank each and every one of you for listening to us, downloading us, doing all the stuff that links us to you and you to us as well. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. Make sure we'd like to hear from you, be part of the show. Click on Be Heard over at Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on Be Heard. Opens up a microphone. Sends us a message right to our inbox, and we'll play it on the very next podcast. We'd love for you to be part of the show. On that note, guys, I'm going to let you get back to what you got to do. My name is the Deacon saying good night and good night.
Wait. Come back.
This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.